Okay. Um, I'm going back up because they are still just as in progress. They're fondling, they're electrocuting me with a taser and fondling my crotch and arguing things that he did over the many years. He likes to relive his crime and then be very instigatory because he likes to like give opinions on things. Which I mean, can you please get this man out of my house? He can't stalk me anymore. He cannot interact with me, and neither can the rest of these men. You need to get these men into custody. They're talking about molesting children 24/7. I need this situation. I need these criminal men. You're technically a criminal if you do any of these things. Not stalking me anymore. It's against the law for them to do so. And anyone else for stalking. Yeah, they're real crafty. They apparently have inaudible noise, heavy breathing on the speakerphone. Who are you again? Nobody cares. You're a child molester. Hold on, I'm getting a. Say, what is this? It's him talking into that thing, which is a heavy breathing pornography device. They need these men that he called in custody out of Las Vegas. The police need to get on this now already, they said. They can't have a man doing this. No, hold on. I'm still focusing on her also. I'm never going to unfocus from you. Would you get this freak show into custody already? You can't stalk me. And I know you need to stop following the women home and sexually assaulting them. And that was in Vegas, maybe. What now? Would you please arrest that? Somebody, wherever the heck it is. It's the same guys in Arkansas. I'm tired of being tased to death. It's the Ice Age fossil beds. They're still closed. So I went to the other one, and there isn't a visitor center. He stalled the car the entire way. Would you please get the schizophrenic domestic abuser cycle guy into custody? It's like the purest strain of domestic abuse cycles over there. I guess. Out of the schizophrenic man. Stop tweak it. Okay, stop going back to the other person that doesn't know you, that has nothing to do with you, and like abusing and doing stuff to them. I mean, and you say that, but it's the guys doing it. How do they have access to law enforcement ability out of, because it's still their jurisdiction. They need to check on why this woman is still calling the police on them. Tony Edo said this was, I don't care what Tony Edo said. Tony Edo is a very dirty something, and somebody needs to figure out what he is. That goes for all of them. They're all acting like criminals. It could be you, Lee. Well, that just means he doesn't know because it's nothing. I'm not a criminal and I'm not that dirty. I'm just an ordinary person. So they can mistake you for a criminal. Or I actually am, I don't, you talk all the time. I have poor motor functioning skills and I get spaghetti on my shirt is where this goes next, only in like really, really ornery and at my expense. Yeah, I could use an apron and make a pistachio cake. Hey, this is important supplies. It's going in the Tupperware from the dollar. And then it's getting frozen. We got 10 more days to get through. That's food. It'll get added. Oh. I mean, that's why too. Like he I am going to comment. He comments on all sorts of things. This morning it was N-word lover, and your mama is an N-word lover, and babies in booter. Okay. Well, I thought that was weird. He's kind of just talking to himself in that. Really? Yeah, like in that story. I don't know whose copy that is. We all got the copy in 2013, 2014, 2015. That's like the problem with all this. Well, maybe the crazy man they got to do something didn't know what was going on, is all I said. That one should have. I don't know what all that is. That's a male with problems that are really weird. Like most people don't do all that. Ask again if the guy in the people in Carroll County, Arkansas, which are these men, because you would have had to like have been in the jail area in Carroll County in 2010 to know what that man just said. Like, and you would have had to actually like have been there because it's a really random thing. So it's definitely the same men. Maybe they told him you were a heroin junkie on probation. Yeah. And they didn't think to really like question the American legal system as far as like whatever. At some point it became like malice and intent and knowing, which is a problem. You're not allowed to F up as far as such things go. It is true also. Because it's quite important you don't F up. It's important you don't mess up, because it's very serious. But you can't lie. If you're law enforcement, there's like a no lying rule. And then if you're knowingly lying to commit a crime, that goes for most things as far as places where you can make stuff up, I guess. It's a criminal and frowned upon behavior, like abstract. But for example, if you are at work, you're not really supposed to lie about stuff. And then there's not too much stuff to lie about. If it involves crime in any way, then... So the fact that you're lying, there's no double speak in public sector criminal law. Okay, you're not the lawyer somebody paid and hired. It isn't even really it. Okay, if you're a government employee, are you knowingly lying to commit what would be a crime? They don't see it that way because the man involved in this was in fact a government employee in Arkansas who told them to do this because it was his jurisdiction. So when a man in Arkansas continued to commit crimes, I didn't realize what an extreme criminal the guy was. With the evidence falsification, actually someone in Arkansas should have gotten that. That's actually their jurisdiction, but they didn't bother to arrest the man who were responsible for the evidence creation, which is a crime, which they're going to have to do now because the male is still involved in the crime. He's still committing the crime and hasn't stopped committing crime. And this is the males involved in the crime or something. But that's in case, in fact, the case. You know, Abby, you're gonna have to. Oh, that was, yeah, that's me. I'm. You know, he wants to talk about his ability to. Do you realize how bad his sexual assault device he's on is? They said the fact that he has a rape device that he can hook up to cell phones and your Cox box is all that's going on. And that you need to get his rape device. I don't know, you just need, that's correct, and everybody needs to get on it out of the American legal system. Yeah, that's correct. I'm not entirely sure who law enforcement is anymore. Or how all that works. You can't, I don't care, and I don't, yeah, that's correct. Also, would you please get the men on the rape device into custody, and anywhere else there might be men on rape devices, because that is one hell of an evil thing. And very evil men are on it here. And I need, you know, restraining orders and be protected from them. So you need to get what all the technology they're on, and then figure out, get the damn sexual assault device they're on. It's just whatever they've got, that whatever just did that, that's a sexual assault device. I don't know if they made it. I mean, they have a lot of, they sit here day and night and do this, wherever they are. I needed him arrested a long time ago, is actually correct. He's got to go to jail now. But this man in Arkansas is saying these men. What is with the like whisper intensity? I don't care. Get the hell away from me. I mean, I care. But we've had this conversation before. Is that thing actually going to get arrested? This has nothing to do with me. I'm the innocent victim of a crime. And the problem is that the criminals need to go to jail. Well, it said they had some crime there, lady. Okay, that can't be running around the community. And somebody, or I don't think. Go figure out what that is. Why? Because it's an incredibly low and rough, dangerous man. So you didn't know what was going on, is what you're trying to say. That's his to rape. That's in this story. This is a child and a family in a $400,000 house in a country club neighborhood in Arkansas. They can't find the police to arrest these men either. which is actually probably going to be the case. I think they definitely probably are sexually abusing children. I mean, that's quite the story in that. As is all the conspiracy to kidnap, murder, gang rape, keep us tee sex slaves. That might the idiot heavy breather from To Catch a Predator that is incredibly schizophrenic is rambling on about on speakerphone on that thing, which is very much a real thing. You know that, which is very abusive to the woman in our house folding laundry and stuff. Or whatever's going on. And the poor person's home, going to the bathroom, taking a shower. Why is it going to the bathroom? But in the bathroom, doing something with their hair. Yeah. Okay. Well, he follows people right into the toilet area, the shower area on the thing, and then commits just unbelievable acts of sexual abuse and crime. Because the thing actually has an ability, he's using an in-progress police crime or taser to rape people off. Where out of? I don't know, but you need to get it. That thing is like, I don't know what he's on, but that is a sexual assault of us. I don't know, it was used in the 70s, lady. It's how old they are. I think there might be a world here because we're all the way in Las Vegas. How weird who does I don't know, I don't want to talk about whatever the hell Huda did and you did, okay? I don't want to relive his Ted Bundy-esque crimes out of suing Huda. The crime spree that he committed in front of the entire legal department and police department that he's still at large with and still committing. Well, they liked it even. There's no liking whatever Huda did by anybody in their right mind. There's no such thing as what Huda did. It's so bad. In relation to you. And how much I reported what you did, which was create my evidence here. Kidnapping needs to calm down now. Again, does that make sense? Well, to say a man could even do such a thing. They need this schizoid Marys out of here. Everybody says. That's a dog. That's also schizoid Mary. I don't know why this is. Get him out of my house now. Get him out. Get him off the sexual abuse. This cannot go on any longer out of the meadows. In Raleigh and in North Carolina and anywhere else. You lady, you made a mess of that. Well, Neto's not sure women drive in his house either. With that, I don't know that they've never done this to anybody. Well, did you after this lady? You're not after. Why are you after ladies? Out of them, the lady killer's got to go in. Okay, the child lady killer's got to go in and clean everybody too. They don't actually want to think about it, but then no, they're sure. I need Huda not in my house anymore, okay? Would you get that disgusting man away from me? No, not mocking things out of this. Do you realize how low that man is compared to everything? No. I don't see it as loaded. I'm in the houses molesting, even McGregor molesting people or something. He said on this. Yeah, he wanders over to the house across the street just to see what's there. So he just wanders in and well, he's investigating a crime even. They need Tony Edo out of uniform. Really, if he did anything even slightly like that, past any point, they need him in custody, even. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts, the entire American legal system. If he was neighborhood pornography in McGregor with that thing, like if the local Raleigh police, Wake County police and Cary police, it's a different jurisdiction, the mocking of, yeah. Oh, that's very true. Well, lady, I want it that anyone would. Is this going to be some creative character that supports Tony Edo in this? They're not creative characters. People actually support what the dirtiest. This is like a character from the dirtiest domestic violence, a nosy minivan and creepy white van. Okay, from Pirates Cove. How do you even know? I could be an important guy. I don't care who that guy is. I don't know who that guy is. which is I just said. I know that is extremely low domestic violence behavior. Apparently he's engaging in sexual acts towards children, so hideously offending that this is the nightmare of America. If you broke the law many years ago, think of how you kidnapped Elizabeth Smart, for Christ's sake, in that conversation again. Really, it was so bad. So bad. A dirty and newsy minivan woman supports him. And she could be a Guido lady even. That would be very instinctory. I don't know what that means. I don't actually know what it means. They're out there. That's masturbating them, and the lady would support them. What the hell are you doing in North Carolina on him? And that monster down at the Wake County Courthouse. We don't really know that much about that character. We know somebody's psychotic and a wife beater. I do actually know that there are men engaging in actually what is degenerate. They're saying middle class if you had a population of people. He's being racist, but no. Usually when they're not degenerate, it's Mystic Pizza over there. Or something. It's a degenerate domestic abusive male engaging in schizoid symptom behaviors because the thing did something completely abnormal. And you employed and brought into a community whoever those males are that committed the crimes. I don't care what they think of each other. Do you understand that? It's a stranger. Here's a strange man. And you're driving down the road in a nice car. Okay. Now, what could so the strange man comes up to you. I don't care anything about the strange man. Well, I don't have to care anything about the strange man. If the strange man is hired as a traffic person and they hold up a sign that says stop, I have to stop. Okay. If they were Mr. Magoo and you hired him as a traffic crosswalk guy and they told you to stop and then it was wrong and somebody drove through, it was wrong and they caused a car accident, then you have to stop there. And you didn't stop there. And Neto would even talk like that, mocking his victim of the incredible amounts of incredibly hideously evil sexual abuse and domestic violence that animal criminally engaged in there. Apparently, Anusi's crimes are like the Elizabeth Smart kidnapping. Like his incredible amounts of crime there. And the incredible amounts of crime in the 10 years prior where every day the woman is interacting with the police station. Really, every day, the Cary Police Department is getting an appropriate interaction practically as to this. Yeah. Out of all the other people outside of, whatever nonsense the thing is doing. That is a very, very bad bunch of men for some reason. Every week they were interacting with the case based on the fact that it was he mocks everything, really. Yeah, you're not Jack from The Shining, okay? You're at work for 8 hours. I don't know, what do you do? They would say he's a pizza guy. If the man, he actually delivered pizzas before this, and he's running around calling shots, crawling through windows. You got to be kidding me! If that's actually he was a Capitol Boulevard pizza delivery guy. Okay, seriously. Can I get him out of my house and not sexually assaulting me? Yeah. Okay. I mean, I have no idea what any of this is. Those were very bad criminal acts, and in application, enough with you're killing me, Smalls. There could be a threat. I get to do stuff now. Okay, we got the tool of offending. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, and you're talking about stroking my genitals or something on my cell phone. Other than that, all the interactions are normal and appropriate. Well, maybe you didn't know what that was. You know what it was exactly? It's created evidence. Arkansas is supposed to have done something about it. They're required by law to arrest the man that created this evidence. There's nowhere you are allowed to create any evidence in court, in a court of law, much less schizophrenic sex offending evidence. Ooh, to say that, no, he actually does. Ooh, to say that, the other guy, Tornado, this is a crime committed by a schizophrenic man. You don't talk over it and go a long time ago. I support the schizophrenic man. You support the schizophrenic man who's doing this. Okay, you need to go to jail as the accomplice of these men in the first degree. They're most aggravated. And the first degree accomplice and accessory to all the crime here. Then. If you want to be the boss a little, or you are the boss, then you're the boss of the responsible party for everything that's occurring here. Well, I just said I didn't like underage drinking then. And you, lady, I want to viciously give my, enough with the sewer ed representing anything. Apparently you violated the human decency law so hideously on that thing. They need to know what device he's using that is so incredibly sexually offending, they said. They want to know what his rape device is. Every single person in the background is just screaming the man is beating and raping them as badly as possible. Apparently he has a TENS therapy electronic device hooked up to the Cox box that is literally beating, electrocuting. You're tasing women's genitals in suburbia. Well, they got over it. They could say words like this. Yeah, but I didn't. There's no reason to say words like that. Okay. That's in word soup and salad from a heavy breathing phone call. Well, there's guys like, nobody cares. No, nobody cares about, why should I care about you? Because it's your job. It's not my job. Okay, out of Veneto. Really, that is so much mouth out of that man. They've never, I need the Anuzi domestic violence mobile, then out of there. Okay? Yeah, that's a stereotype of a lower middle class American wife beater. That's mentally retarded and schizoid affective. That's a degenerate male. Ooh, no, Anuzi, not combative. Well, they shout back and it makes them look bad, and then they're a threat. Yeah, we got that. Actually, you're a threat. And then an application, because you gestured to let me drive away, which you conspired with these men in Arkansas, which they steal cars because they're worth money. Yeah, okay. Then these are the men in Arkansas, which you could tell if you had interacted appropriately with the created evidence, or given myself or my father who's calling you that they're being stalked. Yeah, okay. Can you just, this is, they can't have you in the community, and you're a walking horrific domestic violence and sexual abuse crime spree. There's like nothing else going on in Cary. No, this has nothing to do with the poor woman whose evidence is created. You don't run over. I'm going to get that lady. Do you realize it's domestic? It's a very bad domestic abuser. No, you can't get the person that reported something in person. You can't do anything to the individual that reported something. They're not doing anything else. That's a problem. That says you're googly. That is one. Yeah, that man has been the Aneto referred to on the Cary police has been googlier and googlier than spit. That's technically a googly doogly. He's very domestically abusive and sexually offending. By mocking the victim and getting combative, you are literally engaging in assault behaviors towards the other person. The other person is just turning in evidence to you. You're not allowed to respond with assault. No, that's not a crime to turn in evidence to you. That's what you're actually paid to do. This is definitely not. Okay, so in application, yeah, I'm going to get that guy. In application, that's the SWAT team who doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the guy that called it in. They're going to know what's going on, but they're not going to know what's going on outside of the chart, which has been created again. I'm not actually a person who's run off from probation. Yeah, okay. Who is a warrant out for their arrest. Like, I don't know what that is. To me, that very much could be the case. I have no idea what that is. That has nothing to do with me. So I don't know that person. I'm mad about something, but like the vehicle is never a weapon. You stalled the car the entire time again. Yeah, I rode that car. I can ride their head and then masturbate them. Okay, wherever that thing is, unfortunately, that thing just says that so much that I'm repeating back what the thing says and is doing. Okay. Apparently at Jeffrey Dahmer's house, that is a part of the body. And this is how it's discussed and treated. Unfortunately, the filthy thing is doing it to me and other people. He's actually acting on it. Otherwise, Captain Psychotic, Schizophrenic needs to quit on all of them. Yeah. All of that, like, there's lots of degenerate men out there, okay? All of this behavior is just degenerate male behavior. You're going to find them working as handyman men in, single men that live alone without their mother's housing, that have degenerate diseases or criminal tendencies. Okay. Why would you think you can go get the lady? I wasn't that impressed with the lady. If she says that came out in 2017. I don't know. Maybe it sounded explicit because you weren't like in the room with us or something. I don't know where the topic got. You don't really do that in court. We all do that when we hear it on the TV. Unfortunately, maybe sex offenses, the googlies on the docket, maybe it's ghoulie or something. Mm-hmm. It sounds like a liver with fava beans. It's like a gynecological word. Really. Unfortunately, that's the gynecological word for it, and the thing was actually where they're just doing what it actually, because every act of like fondling, really, would be a felony. Oh. But it would be a different, it would be at 4:47 p.m. on May 5th, 2026, a male care worker touched the private areas of a woman through her clothes. The woman said no and leaped up, and according to the security camera, I don't know. Or touched the private areas of a child he was babysitting or just something. I don't know. Well, you lady would let that babysit. You're letting it babysit. That's the problem, is there's nowhere else these interactions would occur unless you're brought into the community. Or in the community for some reason, and not, because if something,
I'm sitting next to a man and he leans over and grabs my crotch or something, I'm going to leap up in the air and go, bah, punk. I would run away. You might automatically hit him with the person on. Well, she assaulted me, officer. Um, the thing is, I'm sitting in a car that's a brand new, fully paid off that my father and I just bought, $25,000 vehicle. You stole my father's car. Your voice sounds annoying. Okay. And then we don't really do that at the other person. Like you have an extreme aggression issue. You're not allowed to be racist. That's just a degenerate wife beater from a neighborhood that's blue collar. It's a degenerate male that's dangerous. It's the same thing. It's just Herbert the pervert in the neighborhood that's dangerous. Okay. The minivan usually left. You need to do a background check and an employment history on everybody involved. You're accountable, and then you're not allowed to do anything. The people. This is how the guy on the docket engaging. Why are you like cluster flipping? Like, well, why are you engaging in these behaviors that are physical criminal male behaviors? It's this. Like, why are you engaging in domestic violence cycles where you go back to the person? The person's not doing anything to you. Well, I told him not to do that. That applies to something that, and you can't be making calls anymore. You're off jury duty. The reason that you've never been accosted at the mall by the police and you like them okay, as opposed to, and then the police show up and arrest the shoplifter and do what they're supposed to do. They're sober, coherent people that look like they got a full night's sleep. I know. You don't put anything out, okay? Or just it's a coherent person. Pub guy gets in trouble for stuff, but he's, pub guy needs to get a job. Maybe pub guy has a different job. I don't know what pub guy does. Well, I don't care. It's just if the pub guy engages in behaviors that are too much. Enough already. I think it's your topic in the first place, everybody says. Well, you're not conservative. Everything is not a tool of offending. Why do I have to talk to the guy talking about CLITT? Talking about that? There's no talking about that. That's like a made-up word that nobody has ever used before. That's actually the word for that. No, it isn't. Yeah, nobody has ever used that word before. Booterist. Yeah, you have to get, Toledo has to get these men into custody. Next time they show up, and he didn't want to deal with it. What does this moron do otherwise? He said the mall police are online too. They need you in custody now and out of your. That's correct. Like if you remove that man is on the docket today. It's just the domestic violence cycle guy is a criminal, or maybe he's actually engaged in a relationship with that person and has or he's a handicapped man both times. That guy calms down, I think. Enough with what would possess you to go interact with the person? Well, get the lady. He doesn't like the lady for some reason. But that reflects on who? Huda. Well, if he doesn't like the lady, then you should take the Huda. You kidnapped me and created evidence. Okay, the crime of the century over here needs to quit. And it is not allowed in the houses anymore on that day. They said that's in a sexual assault device. Can we get him in custody now? He has a $40,000 fine now on him. That is going to be paid to the victim. They're requiring he spend the rest of his life in prison also. They can't have him at large with the amount of sexual abuse he's engaged in. He just runs around here. Oh yeah, just like mocking and beating up on his female victims over here, and male victims, and child victims also, on anybody involved in this. Well, he hangs out with Neville and the Beast and Otis Toole doing this. If anybody's around wherever he's now, there's like made up character, but they're unbelievable. I won't have a Netto in uniform anymore. That's a mentally handicapped wife beater. The man owes me. The men in Raleigh responsible for all this owe me. Uh, they have to resign. They owe me damages, and they owe me years in the state penitentiary and federal. No, no, feel that. That's practically, that's how badly I've sexually assaulted her. Look at that. That's what I say. I brutally abused their bodies again with my kidnapping and year-long incarceration. While I stood around and mocked my brutally abused victim's body as I led her around. But that's not. We do not use the county jail for. It's a personal vendetta because Huda didn't like that on the internet. Yeah. You did it with the highest and most hideous schizophrenic malice and intent. You then robbed the family of $25,000, which is offhand. Okay, so you're not using your car as a weapon. He is. They want to know where you found these men. Well, and then he let me drive away, so I did it, which was sketchy. Well, you lady, the hideous interaction with the human body of the victim is unbelievable. Why, but I love to be do that. Why is there a man screaming at her and stroking her crotch with the electrocution device, which hurts like the dickens, they said. He's just tasing and tasing and tasing. Las Vegas said if you don't get this monster into custody on Otis Toole immediately next time, not you run in and take the case on that man. They want him put to death for this. That man has raped and beaten children. They're going to go get him themselves. They need you off Vegas airwaves. See, it says that here. Here's how many people were emailing you. And then you need to stop sexually assaulting children. No. Well, he made that up. He meant that. Oh, you went and checked. You've never been there. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Oh. He says he's schizophrenic. He knows that. Yeah. No. No. Yes, I've committed that much crime against her too, because of you. Well, I don't care, lady. I'm a stickler. Like, no! Not some incredibly insecure, filthy shit out of a man that just wants to domestically abuse. He won't stop doing it. They don't care about this man. No, nobody has to care about Annetto. Nobody knows Annetto. Nobody wants anything to do with Annetto. You're stupid, lady. They're coming in here now. It's over on him. He's just raping and raping and raping kids is the problem. On there. Now, we're telling the cops to come in here and arrest these men. They said Huda's down at the courthouse is one of the most evil animals anybody can ever imagine. What's with this, like, what is with this idiot conversation? Get off of that thing! No! Well, I get to do that there. I get to do that there. Come on, that's how bad that is. I don't care! It's time to take that monster. I can't believe you let him hold me for a year and steal my car. Well, I do stuff like that down here because I'm the Huda. Would you like to lay down and take a nap without him brooding over your body, just sexually abusing it as much as possible? Because Annetto was allowed in his police station. What the hell are you doing in houses in McGregor? I don't know. Apparently he's sexually assaulting women and children and also on those men. He said they're so incredibly angry at his crime. Like, I don't think anyone, you are, to stop sexually assaulting women right now on that thing. Out of Carrie also, because Tony gang rape Annetto heard this lady was being instigatory against Annetto. There is no such thing as that freak show in town. Yeah. That thing, his behavior is so weird with that. It's so weird. It's just weird, dude. Annetto needs to calm down. We're taking him into custody as a problem. Apparently he was getting in trouble for your extradition, so he's just going to get to lady. That's a lady? I'm talking about an Annetto. I need you out of my house now. Have I stopped smoking for 15 years? something derogatory about the poor woman in her house that's been like.
Who is defending his behavior? Is that okay? That no, just he's
No! You don't run off and interact with an individual person. It's a crime. Like Aneto's having a problem with this guy because this guy reported Aneto did something, so Aneto's going to go over to his house. What would that be? In like civilian. It would be a crime. You're not allowed to interact with me. Well, you're on probation in my jurisdiction. I don't know. Would you get? No, I'm allowed to shout into this thing with Otis Tool as much as I want and stalk him. You don't have a Mystic Pizza family or something. I didn't know that. I could be married. You're all divorced or something. And the rest of them are too weird to ever have been married. Like all of them. I need you in prison for the rest of your disgusting monster did this to me. You did it to yourself. They need to take responsibility. I would mock my victims by saying that. And that's very instigatory because the Aneto was brought into a community. The incredible lowness of the filthiest rapist, robber, gang rapist.
and he said jurisdiction.
The incredibly domestically abusive beast of a male came up to you at all.
Why were you abusing the woman's body? You had abused it so hideously because they're complete schizophrenic monsters. And that is a big, filthy, sexually abusive, domestically abusive animal of the lowest male you could find anywhere. I'm just saying no to that. And then we can have some girl action. And then why you do this, lady? I would have did. It's called sexual harassment. Would you do this at work? Okay? These people are responsible people. You're not as good. I don't really care. Get away from me. Well, it's the crime of the century with what that man's been doing all I reported you a lot, so you knew what the situation was. I didn't do anything to you because I don't really do anything. Yes, that's very offensive with the levels of assault going on against myself and my property in that. Okay, you're now out of the house of the other person. And you do not like being under and just halfway doing talking. hell up. You might be doing something Hitler worthy. People really don't want to get raped, unfortunately, in things. Or whatever. Robbed, sexually abused, or criminal. But yeah, that's.
Huda wants to say, shut your schizophrenic hole, Huda.
Okay.
Ooh, that's why I do that there. Yeah, you do a lot of stuff, okay, dude? A lot of doo-doo out of you.
Yeah. That is a retarded monster. Oh.
No! Not turn on the taser! Well, that's LA agrees with the NATO. What, in sexually assaulting children to death? I don't have a bad temper. This conversation is just absolute domestic violence. It's correct. Really, yeah. It's also on the docket today to generate. And I just need the individual breaking the law, not breaking the law. It's against the law for you to stalk me. Okay. You're not allowed to interact with me anymore. I'm alone in my house. There's nothing going on. I'm watching TV. There's a person in that building. Is there anything going on in there? No. I can't have you hiring men that are criminals because they do stuff like this. They're real dangerous. They rape, they rob. I mean, even if they rape somebody one time on that thing, you need to get the thing hooked up to it. That's a actual sexual assault device. No. Okay, already. No. No! That thing can't touch me anymore.
Where'd you get these
No! Do you realize his incredible like violence? Really? Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I got like a you got a paper cut. Yeah, I mean, it just he's been like just painting in rape and murder and blood and just I mean, I don't know what that thing is over there doing. And family rape and I mean, okay already. Right. No, I mean, it just ow. Well, those people talk. I don't care who to get over your damn self. Oh, excuse my French, but I mean, nobody get out of my house. Find a lady that actually likes you. Have a normal life. It's gonna work out for you. You need to mess with that on her also. No, I don't. Don't you get him in this way? Like to hurt them with that. You and it'll please get this man into custody already. Okay. But on her, sir, what did that thing just say? A little cystic. What the hell did that thing just say? No! You don't have to. I'm not shouting. Would you get this freak out of my house? No! Would you please get these men into custody right now if they're not going to stop sexually abusing children? Maybe that's the thing about the wife beater. You're a schizophrenic man talking about molesting kids. I need you not in my house stalking me anymore. No! Okay. Get him in custody now. No! 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 I need Annetto taken into custody also for this. He is not a superior officer to me. That man is a criminal and I need him arrested. That goes for the entire community. Who does out of the Wake County Courthouse has to go to prison. No, I'm still going to do that. I was allowed in here. No, did this stop before? Instead of Netto arrested you. Thank you. Well, you don't understand. Who understood the evidence was created? So an unusual case came in where a victim of sexual abuse and kidnapping and domestic violence by a schizoid affective predator. Apparently he related to the other criminal on Annetto also. That's the other criminal. No! After 10 years of this, well, maybe they didn't like you then. They tricked her to do. Can I get you not interacting with the Caspers right now? No, we're in progress. We feel Miss Casper, whoever the crazy woman is talking to, needs to be taken into custody now. Not us. That's all that happened last time. It was this bad. Neville the Beast was sexually assaulting her and Miss Kathy. And then it was like, oh, I'm going to get the lady because I'm the dirtiest animal ever brought into a community. I'm gang rape. domestic violence, lowest class, criminal beast in heaven. Huda. Well, I felt if he was to sexually abuse that woman, he can as much as he wants. Yeah, no. The same thing Las Vegas is doing now. We can't, well, how about Little Rock? Well, people were talking back to it. You allowed to talk back to this wife beater? This incredibly disgusting, degenerate, mentally retarded monster, because he dared to say, man, you're not allowed to serve mental health warrants to people reporting crime. I don't know. It's against the law. He's just showing, he shines with law enforcement, and the law enforcement of gang rape, the domestically abusive, retarded beast, the animal in Neto, the most unacceptable criminal freak monster. His behavior is so incredibly dirty and low, they said, on Neto. Well, that's what Neto does because he dared to defend what wife beater, the gang rapist of Mussolini, the retarded construction worker, handyman from the hood, Neto did. I thought they didn't even know the most degenerate criminal beast, a rapist so hideously low. The lowest sexual abuser ever born, the Cary police. Because every day this crime of stalking was going on, and every week in your office. Did you mention that you just gotten off the phone to other law enforcement? So you took it on yourself when you got the envelope in 2016 is Tony Edo. The man that went through every piece of clothing I had in the house, like the dirtiest rapist and robber that could ever. The thing is smelling underwear. It's so goddamn dirty and weird. There's nothing in the house. Nobody requested a house search. Really, that thing is the most dangerous man ever born. That was the dirtiest sexual abuser I have ever met or could never imagine. It was the most sexually abusive and domestically abusive, schizoid affective criminal of a beast, of a degenerate, retarded man or something. I'm very serious. I felt necessary to require one of those. The evidence is created! You don't make calls in communities that have nothing to do with your incredibly, hideously offending self. You are the worst rapists and pedophiles in the history of the human race. Also, thieves, domestic abusers, liars, stalkers, sex offenders. No, not some bullshit. Well, you just don't get involved. It's real rough in law enforcement. It's very rough and criminally offending in law enforcement. That is the most diseased and defected and dangerous behavior. Did anybody do anything to the thing? No, he just got the pamphlet with the created evidence in it. Well, he didn't like it either. That's why Huda said that. To write directly to the prosecutor's office. I need that thing arrested right now, which is correct. Wait. Huda is obstructing justice on getting the men sexually assaulting her and you arrested again. The exact same replicating schizoid affective proud Mary of death or whatever those vicious things are. The man is RIPing a child. He's talking about incredibly explicit things in relation to children. You have to arrest him, and you know that. You also need to alert the victims out of Huda's, their court and legal system. Yeah. And law enforcement. You are not allowed to congregate in law enforcement. That is very dangerous. All the evils in the world have happened when something evil and when criminals congregate in law enforcement. Yeah. Or it's not that complex. That man is a criminal. or the other guy told him it was a heroin junkie, which is what I said, with a gun. Like, really, like the other person in Carroll County, and people don't think to expect that, told him it was a heroin junkie with a gun. The man is the worst rapist in the history of rape, as far as his incredible, hideous crimes. And whatever's going on with the neighborhood pornography stalking is apparently so incredibly criminal that the thing is John Wayne Gacy on it. It's an incredibly evil domestic abuser and sexual abuser who does not turn off the neighborhood pornography device that he's broken into the house to plant in the house. And he's on law enforcement tech too that has body scanners and all this other stuff. And the thing just sexually abuses, assaults, stalks, beats, rapes. He's got rape devices hooked up to it. He's crawling through every window. He's sexually assaulting children, stalking families. He does not turn it off on a family he's singled out to sexually abuse and stalk. He conspires to kidnap, uses incredible language to the children, to women alone. I mean, he terrorizes in the most criminal ways unimaginable but possible, literally. Like, is there another way I can terrorize these people? The incredible brutality and open sex offending of the stalking of myself. The fact that these men were doing this exact same thing, for the entire 5 months prior. This bad with the CLITY booterist. Maybe some people don't like pedophiles. But they're shouting it in the middle. Something pretty booterist, whatever the hell that is. And I'm going to go say that to the children, then tell them I'm going to rape them and their parents after kidnapping them and throw them one by one in a trash compactor and then trash compactor them alive and make them watch. Apparently the children and their families are just not dead in this. The thing is, that thing is actually doing that to live children. Maybe he's just doing it to Pearl Gelanozy in anywhere. Or one of their polygamy cult members' kids, Elizabeth Smart. Apparently they're affluent compared to them, which means I don't know what. The crackhead gets a EBT card in their story. Yeah. He would get that from that. You just give that. That's why I make fun of those. Nobody has, your misfiring disease and defected brain is incredibly low. I'm not one of those. People leave these down so great against law enforcement. Okay, unfortunately, I don't know what that means at all. You have to interact with evidence, and you can't be a mentally retarded degenerate. That's extremely dangerous. I always know where I was. I need these men in custody now out of my original kidnapping. Out of Arkansas is correct. They said they won't arrest a man that created evidence this long ago, except that this is an unusual case. It's correct. Yeah. And it's not even like that it's an unusual case. It's just a crime that actually occurred is correct also. So what I said. And then these are the criminals that committed it. Maybe. No. No, I'm still just allowed to be in the houses on that. Well, there's a. I reported you as a stalker. You then interacted with the men doing this to kidnap me. The sadistic torture of your body in that again by those men, while they mock you and stand around and say you did God. They would say nobody's. Do you realize you're in their community? You're not there to rob them or rape the women and kids. Well, you're doing that. You're not allowed to follow people into their houses. Well, I do that a little. I can get a little rough. If that is actually the Cary Police hanging out with these men, apparently Anetto needs to go to jail because the world of a man gang rapes and beats to death women with a taser needs to end. The stalking of death needs to go in now. You're not a problem. That's a problem. You haven't been a problem all throughout is a problem also. The fact that they're like that aware of the situation and then just, you know, no, you're not allowed to do that.
He scared the woman away just by incredible criminal behavior and strong arming then and just forced it through while the woman was experiencing class A felony, hideous amounts of crime. Who needed to call you every week? That goes for whatever he did everywhere else. It's definitely the crime of the century in a place like McGregor.
It's a crime of a century anywhere. What the hell did that thing do? They want him in prison for that. For going to the person's home. He mounts up, he's gonna run off. Well, you're not allowed to hire men like that and bring them into communities. That is an incredibly dangerous man. The crimes that animal committed. He committed acts of gang rape, sexual abuse, and domestic violence, kidnapping and car theft, lying, creating evidence himself. So hideous. The crimes of which I have been the victim are so incredibly hideous. Well, I'm standing by completely what I did in relation to all of them. Out of kudos also. We feel that when a man gets a conviction in Arkansas, it should have been over. It was supposed to be over. This man was a wonderful man. Tony Edo, to support other members of they were lying about liking Mr. Crowder. They could do that, not him.
They broke these emails. Okay, so you need to, as law enforcement, do what?
Trash in communities like this again. He said, I mean, you brought people that committed hideous amounts of crime into her life in that. And then they're going to put you to death for what she's doing right now. All of you, including the Nettos. So incredibly hideously offending. Because he dared to serve a warrant. He thought it was an outstanding warrant, so he committed the crime. Well, you need to get these men out of my house. The blue collar employee needs to go home now, okay? And I know, does that make sense then? The males involved in this have to be sent to prison, and that's the end of it also, prison. They cannot have these men at large anymore. That goes for you after what you did day one, in Miss Casper's case, and Miss Kathy's case, and everywhere else. The incredible amounts of crime you committed. They need Neville and the Beast in prison right now. Do you understand that? We support law enforcement. Neville was literally brooding over your body as you slept, masturbating himself all for the day, the entire day before. Out of a Netto's, gonna get that lady going to Macy's. Yes, he doesn't feel she's fit to work because this is who does stuff in here. This is actually what is in here, the Huda. Are without comparison. You drug the entire North Carolina legal system down to like a level so hideously offended. He's been doing that every day for every day. Well, I'm not the responsible party. Then who are they supposed to call in their community? Well, I stand by their daddies. Then my father's not doing anything. It's gonna be. I'm allowed to bring men like this. I'm allowed to bring the degenerate thing in. I need these men not in my house. Why are they still at large, still breaking the law? They feel that men like Annetto can do this here. Maybe you don't even know in a community like Cary. You're not even that wealthy. A lot of wealthy guys like Annetto. Who the hell is Annetto? That's a lot of mouth out of Annetto. No, okay, I wasn't allowed to look further into this, so I didn't do so. Instead, I took it on myself to side with the members of law enforcement who turned out to be schizophrenic monsters. Okay. Can you get the schizophrenic monsters out of my house? be able to sleep laying down, including the still alive children. Anita was brought into the community. You needed to, you have no idea the horror, the absolute horror of my stalking is the problem on him. Do you know how dirty a little booter is? Would you get this man out of people's homes? That is what the thing just said.